Cannabis is a lot closer to Yeezys and Nike and Champion than fucking Advil. Right. And I think that's gonna play out. You know, I think like everything I care about, whether it's emerging hip hop, whether it's angel investing, there is clearly something I'm passionate about, which is seeing things just a hair faster than the normal other person, enough to benefit from it. There were a couple core reasons. One, I just generally believe that cannabis globally as an industry is gonna matter. And like the trends are heading in a direction where the stigma is going away. I mean, alcohol was illegal in America 70 years ago. I grew up in the liquor business, highly regulated, couldn't ship, state lines, all the stuff that I saw from vertical integration, state licenses. So something that would scare a lot of business people away from it. It's my norm, check. Humans, Rama, Josh, Phil, just like the people, just like humans around me. I'm like, I like these people, good. And probably the most kind of like altruistic is, I genuinely believe there's a lot of people that would benefit from cannabis-based, like products versus what else they're consuming for whether that's recreational or pain or just, it's very deeply, I failed every science class. I know nothing about medicine, nothing. As a human, intuitively, I have a funny feeling a lot of people are gonna benefit from the advancements of the consumerization of cannabis, which makes me happy. This is cryptocurrency, this is search engines, this is browsers, this is social networks. It's only been 10 years since we had a social network for everything. Right. There was Dogster, there were sports social networks, there were skiing social networks. Right. And then cream rises to the top. I think 99% of the consumer brands that think they're gonna win the cannabis, we're gonna be the best cookie and the best this and the best that and the best vape and they're gonna lose.
So when you look at different brands in the landscape right now, are there any that have you super excited about kind of the future?
No, because I haven't done the homework yet. I'm in macro mode. Right now I'm so focused on helping the infrastructure of Green Street as a marketing engine, and first of all, there's a lot of restrictions on how you can market. So a lot of things Vayner does in Facebook and Instagram we can't do. So I'm more in the macro right now. Right. Like I'm not scared about missing the Nike or the Marlboro or the vitamin water, because there's gonna be more. Right. What I'm good at is not getting caught up in the interior design of the room. I'm good at putting down the steel and the concrete for the building. So I'm still in steel and concrete while everybody's thinking about like what chandelier they're gonna put in the fucking room. Do you understand? That's my analogy. I'm not in a rush. Everybody's in a gold rush. You've got 90% of people in business right now in cannabis that are looking for a quick score. Straight up. I love when a lot of people try to razz at me and be like, Gary, you don't fucking smoke. Like I'm like, I get it. But let's see what 2047 looks like.
In terms of, when you look at, obviously there's crazy regulations right now with like Facebook and Instagram, so you can't use the playbook from something like VaynerMedia just in rinse and repeat with these brands, How as a cannabis brand do you advise them to kind of get around that?
Becoming a media property. Right. Whether it's podcasting, starting a vlog, like acting more like Gary Vaynerchuk than VaynerMedia. Not being at the mercy of a third-party platform. Ad product. Winning the organic art game and then trying to create awareness and distribution through experiential influencers, branding, other humans. Just, to me, I'm never suffocated by my inability to do something, because again, I was never able in my entire wine career to ship wine to Massachusetts, for example. Right. Just could never sold a bottle to Boston in my life. I'm not crippled by the rules as long as everybody has to play by them. I'd be devastated if there was two companies that back-end paid Google and Facebook and they're running ads and we can't. But if everybody's playing by the same rules, interested. Most people's idea is they're gonna play cat and mouse and they're gonna keep creating accounts until they get shut down. Right. Not smart.
And so there's other games to play. What are some that you kind of like? There's obviously podcasts.
Podcasts I'm obsessed with. Vlogs I'm obsessed with. Influencer marketing, I do think there's some clever things to do. Event-based marketing. Like, why can't you invite 30 influencers of the cannabis space right now? Whether they're cliche old school stoners or hip hop or advocates or doctors, create a dinner for 30 people in LA, film it, and then distribute the film. You can. Innovate. Like, I don't know, like fucking, if you've got a great vape product or a great cookie or a great consumer packaged good product or consumable or what have you, oil, whatever it is, and you decide to build the coolest hoodie brand for the next 3 years around your brand while you wait, that's a good strategy. It's a hell of a lot better than, oh, let's keep putting up fucking Instagram accounts and as soon as they shut them down, we'll just build another one.
Makes sense. In terms of the macro trends you're kind of looking at, are there any that kind of have you excited over the next few years?
Not really.
No.
No, to me, what excites me is the cat's out of the bag. This will happen in my lifetime. Now it's just execution. Patience, thoughtfulness, watching. The most exciting thing for me in cannabis is the same thing that's most exciting to me about sports betting and the most exciting thing to me about crypto and blockchain. Watching. That's the best. Like, I'm in. I'm doing this interview, I'm on covers, I'm speaking, I'm in. But I'm being a cheetah. I'm not rushing to anything. I'm watching. It's early. What's so fun about making that statement is how many people are listening to this right now that think they just missed it. I think we're fucking taking a shower in our house, haven't gotten in our car to drive to the stadium, let alone get dressed, do batting practice. This isn't the second inning. I'm taking a shit in my fucking bathroom waiting for the game tonight at 7:30. This thing is not even fucking remotely close. And I'm thrilled to be 74 and have my breakthrough Fiji water fucking in cannabis. Thrilled. Because guess what? I want to win at 74 too. Creating a partnership with humans I enjoyed who were deeper practitioners and more authentic to the space in the context and the nuances than I was. And a perfect marriage, right? I bring what I can bring to the table. And I would never go into a business, I don't usually have partners because usually I go into businesses I fully know. But I thought timing was right to learn. I genuinely loved the Josh and Ram, like as a humans. Phil was my most known entity. He's been with me for a decade. I trust him like a brother, son. So him being kind of the rabbi, the GM of that project, it let him spread his wings. So it just felt like all the pieces were in place. So the ambition is you can't learn about getting into shape by reading and watching videos about people doing exercise. So I have to get in, but I couldn't get in the way that I would want to normally, so I needed a partnership. So I found the right partnership.
In terms of like kind of consumer apps in the space, there's things like Weed Maps, I'm sure you've kind of checked out, things like Leafly, or we've got some things popping off. What do you kind of see as like the opportunity there? Anything you feel like is missing on the, maybe on the macro side of it?
Anybody who builds a utility is always in a good place. So I'm watching people like, but I think, you know, to me, again, I haven't even started deeply paying attention to the space I most care about, which is the Coca-Colas, the Marlboros, the Absolut Vodkas, the Nikes of the space. I definitely haven't looked under the hood. I mean, I'm in the game of life, so I'm aware of everything you just mentioned, but you know, one of the things I like about the way I was raised is I don't talk about shit I don't know. To me, I know the macro in this space. I know why I'm in it. I understand it. I genuinely believe my DNA and I would call my skin and the amount of people who will give up on cannabis in the next decade because regulation is gonna be too slow for them is going to be remarkable. I'm passionate about what it means in our culture and there's so much passion around it. And you know, my brother has Crohn's disease. And I think that probably affects me. And I was born in the Soviet Union. My grandma used to like pull like Route St. John from the highways. Like I'm definitely more of there's a part of Eastern medicine that very much intuitively comes to me. I'm probably a big fan of like both. So I'm really pumped about like it happening. I don't know, I just feel like stomach issues, like headaches, like you know, I do not know what I'm talking about. But would I bet my personal health on the line that there are many people who are taking over-the-counter pills instead of this? The answer is 1,000%. Yeah. Same as I'm taking turmeric for my fucking inflammation, you know? Because my fucking, broke my foot, I think. Yeah, I'm just excited that the stigma around it is clearly evolving. But look, I mean, like I have crazy, like there are downsides to, I mean, alcohol's got real issues. Like sugar is scary. Yeah. Like there's a lot of scary things. I'm glad for this one to finally go full circle because it was super in the mix in the 1800s. Here's what cannabis really has. It's cool. Like Tylenol isn't cool, you know? And alcohol, to be honest, right this second, I'm like, oh shit, I'm really curious what the view of alcohol was in America from 1890 to 1920. So I know the roaring 20s enough to know alcohol party, much of what we feel today. But I also feel like there was probably, like for a lot of women in America, it must have been bad because there was a lot of drunk guys hitting women, you know? There was like a lot of, was it loser guy? Like what was it? What I know cannabis has at this moment is a subculture of very coolness, which I think is going to really work in its favor as a consumer product. Cannabis is a lot closer to Yeezys and Nike and Champion than fucking Advil, and I think that's gonna play out.
A lot of people with varying levels of experience trying to make their break in it, whether it's to be something as simple as a bud tender or to start their own company. What's kind of your advice for people trying to break into it?
Look, I think as a 50-year bet, it's a great industry. I think as a 50-week bet, it's a horrible industry. So now you ask yourself, why am I in it? What am I doing here? If you wanna make a quick buck, go garage sailing or start flipping on, go to China, buy something and flip it on Amazon. If you're in it for something meaningful and long term, I think it's a really great space. I will say this, I do think like alcohol, there will be some really significant winners. The Bronfmans, the Southern, the integrated from growing to selling within state model, multi-state operators, the MSOs. I think there'll be 4, 7, 12, 15 real billionaire players. And then within them, there'll be a lot of opportunities. One of the reasons I'm excited about Green Street is, if I'm right, that the MSOs will win and there'll be like 12 guys and gals who like run shit, right? Growing in Delaware, distributing, and the retailer, because the licenses. Like you have to follow the licenses. Okay, so I'm Rick and I won in Delaware. And before there's the massive consolidation in 30 years where the 3 biggest MSOs go and buy all the others. Like I'm literally so excited right now. I'm like, I can't wait to watch this video in 40 years because I'm gonna be so fucking right. Like I really think I'm right about this. Well, think about what I'm excited about. When there's 57 brands that matter across, when there's 180 brands that matter across 50 different states, well, Green Street should be the best agency for all those people. So that's exciting, that's an ancillary business. But I think from the production and selling side, tobacco and alcohol and pharmaceuticals is much more real than Coca-Cola, Nike, and vape, and so I think I wanna make sure people aren't naive. I think that there will be 5 to 50 MSOs, which I consider as multi-state operators. So I have 33 states that I have licenses in, thus I can actually build Fiji. Because if I'm only available in New Jersey as one of the one-off license, you're not screwed, you can have a great business by the way. But Fiji, it'll be like, you know what? I view it like wrestling pre-WWF. Wrestling in America in the 60s and 70s was a regional sport. Like the Von Erichs were big in Texas and Ric Flair was big in fucking the South and Gagne and those guys, AWA, were huge in Minnesota and Vince McMahon Sr. had New York. And then you'd have, and like that's the stars. Then Vince came along and consolidated and WWF became the play. That's how I think cannabis is gonna play. I think there'll be a brand that is the #1 brand of Arizona because one family or one entrepreneur got the license in Arizona, vertically integrated, she crushed it. She created fucking Sunshine, the brand. It fucking dominates. You go to fucking Arizona and everybody's on, and it's almost like fast food chains, right? Like you go down and you're like, what the fuck is, like if you only lived in New York and the first time you went to LA, you're like, what the fuck is Jack in the Box? What the fuck is McDonald's? That's how I see it. And then there'll be consolidation.
So here we go, prediction, last prediction here. So in terms of when is cannabis legal?
I have no fucking idea. The one thing I'm really proud of, the reason I've seen around corners is because I didn't see around corners. I just saw it first. And I had the audacity to go all in. What I'm good at is going all in when I see it and not letting anybody else's points of view waver. You know, I don't know when it happens. I don't know why it happens. Do I think I see it before I die? I do. But then it'll be it's state regulated anyway. Like federally, them taking away the restriction, that's the question, because it's legal now. It's just you have to take your cash and deposit it in a different way. You know, it's gonna be state run. This is what people are very naive about. This is why the MSOs are gonna win.
Awesome. Thank you, Gary.
Thanks, brother.
Appreciate it.